see some real dive out of Spain now, and what we're used to seeing on this map is a lot of Genji. Genji Sombra is very popular right now, and there's a lot of different ways you can try to break the more standard defensive setups here. Spain is running the Winston, no Orisa with this, no sniper. It's kind of a thing of the past right now on this new patch, Ana being so powerful. So they're just going to be running the Sombra defense here along with triple support. So very good against dive if Line Pro is in the right position, because remember, as we just saw on Blizzard World, Huss is tracking Harry Hook and how far away he is from Line Pro, and that's where the dive has actually been causing Spain a lot of problems. So rather than, I think, tracking Huss and dealing with him, it might just be protecting Harry Hook, staying a little bit more balled up, don't get caught alone. For Harry Hook, I think is what maybe he should be thinking right now, trying to avoid getting caught alone. Australia, see if they can find that opening once again. Poppy's actually going to be the one in the back first, though.
Yeah, it only gets a little bit of damage. Smattering over there onto a Kraken, so not going to be the most ult charge gained up for him. CKM starting to poke his way around the side as the rest of his team getting ready to join in, says, hey, what's up to Huss? Kites his way back, and looks like he's going to be changing things up, moving away from the Genji.
Yeah, seeing the Brigida to start right at the beginning makes this so much more difficult.
It's going to be Pharmacy coming in. So, big comfort here with the Pharah.
Thanks
Jumps
for the
forward
assist.
here. Start popping those rockets out.
This is very clearly what Australia's been trying to practice and prepare, is running this Pharah to counter the Brigida setups, finding angles with the rockets. You know, building a barrage early could lead to this point being captured. So much damage already done here.
Yeah, really nice ones coming.
Huge
First healing comes in there on a Spain, trying to keep the members alive. Doc falling low, desperately needs some heals. He will be able to get them. That works as well down to half. Jumps into the back of the point, rejoining here with the rest of his squad. In some fashion, Romance goes ahead, lifts his head up. Tries to offer up the defense major to deny some of these rockets coming in. CKM still building. Everybody is nice and collected in the side room here for him. Rockets coming down. They know they basically have to move up and try to gain some ground to stand on. Still going to be isolated on the side. One thing comes through now. Harry Hook's going to fall. Something from by Romance. That one's going to die. And this should just be Australia able to get this cap, you would think. Line Pro pretty much going to be by himself here on the point.
This was
for too very long, so things still going to be coming in.
Australia basically pulling the strings. Spain was the puppet, man. That was the best coordinated Pharah we've seen from them of these 3 maps so far. Pushing everyone into the choke, having all their cooldowns advantage-wise. For example, Trill, because he doesn't need to leap, has that over network, so has to leap to get out of the point. So much damage done in the choke, through into the room. Then as soon as he identified they were going to leap, he went up into the air. Now they have a massive ult advantage. They can look for the double cap here. EMP could lead it all off. He sees where Harry is. And Line Pro already used the rally.
Out. Oh, he's got such a great angle for this one. Drops it, throws it down. Harry Hook going to be isolated and eliminated. Barrage thrown in on top. Romance is going to get knocked out of that deck. The rocket goes in for the follow-up hit, and now Networks is pretty much all on his lonesome here on the point. Tried to delay this one. Primal Raid's going to get popped. He picks up the Mega Pack by a little bit more time. Doc tries to kite his way into the back.
This is insane.
To that spawn room. Does manage to stay alive, and Harry Hook's going to rejoin in on the point with the Transcendence, but has to kite back to keep everybody else alive.
Yeah, Pokefresh is about to have that EMP. That's basically what they need so badly right now to hold this.
It needs to be big. Goes ahead, pulls that one down. Nearly gets eliminated. That's going to open up for Networks to jump in. This is going to be taken down. Australia fighting their way off the point. But look how much they got on that first push. 89.4%, and they still have 5 minutes.
It's insane. I mean, Networks had to use that Primal early too, so that was really a big concern for Spain. Will I be able to use that again when the actual full capture comes through? It builds up to 75% of it now. They survive based off of a really nice EMP there from Popey, but it was a scary moment for Spain, absolutely. Line Pro still running this Brigida. He's going to be sticking with that as Custom will swap over actually with CKM onto this Lucio Brigida. They want to run a comp that's more sustainable. They're not looking for those big opening ultimate kills here to grab this point because they only really need 1 tick to finish it off. They want sustainability rather than the big blow up potential.
See how they're going to go with this reapproach. Nano Boost being held here by Doc.
It's for Networks if things get dire and he does need it.
For him, Line Pro, he's going to go ahead and toss that one out. He's taking down Harry Hook. Nice little opening shot. Comes around the corner, throws out another right click. Gets some damage in onto Trill, and they will force them back. Australia just going to abandon that approach.
Line Pro slept here, but there's no way to punish that, so ends up being totally fine here for Spain, and they have stabilized completely now, you would say. I mean, in this meta, Ana could build the nano boost so quickly. That's really all they had to use to defend there. It was well done. So Doc will have that very quickly. And Australia has kind of lost some steam here as they push forward now. Husk could step and engage.
Jumps in, will get detected, drops down, tosses it out. Not sure how many people he caught. Kills aren't really there as a follow-up. Punk not going to get anything with the self-destruct. Now the charge for Harry Hook with another transcendence. Keeps everybody alive here for the moment. Poppy Fresh going to get taken down. CKM finds the hit. No EMP in the mix yet. Still should have enough time to rejoin. Self-destruct going to be tossed into the back. CKM makes his way out, has the shield up, keeps himself alive, and now rejoins for the rest of the squad here forward onto the point. Romas going to be taken down. As they start ticking up, looking to exceed the percentage that they already established, but they are going to be doing just that here, now at 91%. Primal Rage popped by Networks, trying to stay alive, falls down to half HP, Punk trying to finish him off. And Mega Pack stays alive in the fight now. It's going to be sound barrier thrown down by Custa as they try to go ahead and close it out right here. Rally going to be online. Cam pops that one immediately, and Line Pro will get taken down. Move off, looking for the break onto the mech. They will be able to find it. Hack comes down, but no one can touch CKM. He's got so much HP and armor, he just can't break through it. Now it's 93% here for Australia as they try to get the win. Networks pushing for it. Samson, Hack comes down, the healers will fall. And this should just about be it as they desperately try to delay this Spain.
Yeah, they're just trying to build away some of that time bank, burn it away, but it doesn't work out. In the end, Australia, with another coordinated double push, get the second tick, swap their composition, run the sustainability, look to use that to push into a longer fight that they win. They trade up on ultimates. And very, very importantly, because Poppy's swap to Sombra was a little bit later, they controlled the Mega Pack, and controlling the Mega Pack means that you're going to have a ton of extra heals. You have so much more sustainability in those longer fights, and we saw multiple times Trill just operating around that Mega Pack, diving deep, coming in, getting the heals, just kind of rinse and repeat with that, and that makes it so difficult as the defender when one of the tools you often feel you have guaranteed is that Mega Pack. When it's taken away from you, then it becomes so much more difficult.
And I think that's a decent indicator for how scrambled Spain is on this map at the moment, is that they didn't have their own Mega Pack underneath the bridge. Yeah. That is always a staple pickup for the defending squad with the Sombra. I mean, maybe if you have the attacking team swap to the Sombra instantly, sprint over as you're capping point A, maybe you can get it before the defense can, but little odd to see. But we'll see how they're going to approach on this attack. This is their map selection. They should have a plan prepared to try to get this victory. We'll see what they can pull off as they get ready to push for Australia. However, at the moment, it's going to be showing us the Orisa, the Treehouse coming through on this defense.
Don't get too excited, Symmetra fans. It's just going to be a faster, more efficient way to put these guys up there than the Maywall with Teleporter now. So up here on top, we're going to have the Junkrat as the defense for Spain. The big question is, how will they try to crack this? Because you would expect it would be some variation, some form of dive. And they're going to, of course, scout it as soon as this map opens in 15 seconds. They did show some goats as composition here, which I thought was pretty odd. And again, it's not the strongest comp for this map. Okay. It looks like they're just still...
They're going to do it.
Yeah, they're still getting ready for it. Yeah, it's going to be... It's happening.
They just have to keep the supports protected here. If Us can get a headshot, CPM gets those nades into the back. It's going to be all she wrote.
And it's so predictable, too, when you see this. You know exactly they're just going to take the right side path from defender's perspective, right? And then you can set up some good concussive mines there to disrupt the composition. Looks like after seeing this comp, Spain is like, well, this just simply isn't going to work. They're going to head back into spawn, make those swaps over to more Ana-based composition here, where you could maybe look for a big bio. They have the Winston, so there's some dive to this, but it's not full dive. There's no follow-up damage like a Genji or a Sombra or even a Tracer with this. So very unusual what we're seeing Spain attempt to run here.
Oh, there we go. Huss. He sorted out his HUD. His rifle's not sitting in front of his scope. We'll go ahead, pop back over to the treehouse for a shot. It's a nice hit there on the net. Forces him back. Let's go ahead and pick up that mini pack. Try to get some heals across the way from Doc. Down onto the low ground here. Harry Hook and Poppy Fresh. Going to be operating, trying to tick up here onto the point. Networks goes in up top yet again. CKM going to be taken down as Harry Hook finds the right click kill. So Winston will fall. Plus under some fire. Sight up now. He drops down onto the low ground. Okay, just popping back over the side. Misses the headshot there on the Doc. Misses the next one. Can he line this up? No, Doc is going to go ahead and retreat back. Keep himself alive. Shut in on the Tracer. However, Poppy Price will get taken down, and now Harry Hook is isolated in the back of the point. We'll see if he is going to be able to escape. Nearly 2 ticks gained here for the side of Spain. Australia tries to gain some control. Husk will be taken down.
This is really concerning for Spain because it's a comp that needs real picks.
Oh,
they
boy.
get 2 of them now.
Yeah, that is when you get a little upset at your solo queue players because they woke up the nano-boosted Primal Rage Monkey Networks. Just goes ahead, wakes up, takes them all down, and this should be the cap getting ready to come through here for Spain as they go ahead and clean things up.
If they had left him to sleep there, this would have been potentially the rest of the members of Australia rejoining, and we have a totally different story here. Spain wins this, less time banked than Australia, very slightly there after the A cap. They certainly could end up with a better one on extra rounds. They don't have a comp that can run the double cap right now, so there's not that threat that Australia had with their attack here. The Monkey Press swings for the back line. Here's the Riptide to delay.
Yeah, drops that one down, passes a lot of people up. He went to Lucio, finds Harry Hook, flips him, but it's not going to be enough to take him out. Poppy Fresh trying to work his way into the back, over to CKM, but the trap is there to go ahead and finish him post-mortem. Gets that kill. And works over into the back. Finish off Drill, gets him right in the go into the swamp room. That's a feel bad moment right now. But that will get his just desserts. He goes down, and now Bromas will join him in the grave. Spain, a very cheeky little push forward, I guess as the Australians would say. Yeah. But it doesn't net them any.
And I wonder, will Spain continue to try to run this against what Australia has? Because the Tracer is just consistently being shut down by a Kraken here on this Brigida. Not to mention the fact that there's just a lot of DPS output on the side of Australia. You get low, you're going to get picked. There's no more Junkrat. They do swap that away back to the Genji here. So counter dive coming out from Australia. But Spain, I think, is kind of going against the grind here a little bit, trying to make this Tracer work. This kick-based blow-up pop where you look for the pulse bomb to open up everything. As you can see here, he's trying to find a target, trying to find that opening.
One of the tanks. Would it be a nice one? Especially Custa here is close to this Tracer stun comes in on the Poppy Fresh. Has the recall. Has that armor up as well, but Plunk is gonna find support. Gonna be taking him down from Mass knocked out of the mech, and that is just gonna be the clean sweep coming through. And they leave the baby Nito for just a little bit longer.
And Achilles just feels like, with this huge stacker here, it's insanely bad for Bromas, but it feels like everyone on Spain is trying to play around this Tracer, and now we see the swap over to the Sombra, but so much time was lost. It feels like everyone in Spain is in a waiting room, waiting for that pulse bomb to go off, then they're going to engage, and I feel like that's just too desperate against a Brigida defender. Now they have the potential for a big push with an EMP, for example, follow up with maybe a self-destruct. This is a more meta way to run attacks on B on Anubis, but it feels like they've lost a lot of time. That's going to come back to bite them.
Yeah. Now set ready to go here. Doc not going to get his own healing out from that bio grenade. Still alive here for the moment. Still being held. The sleep dart not going to connect. Australia. Several ultimates ready to go. Things open up by Spain. Find one there. The Kraken goes down. He pulls out his blade, swiping away, looking for some kills, but not going to find much of anything yet. Right clicks now. As a result of that, he tries to finish off Harry Hook, but he gets that sound barrier off in time to keep himself alive and in the fight. Spain still not gaining any percentage here. They need that first tick at least to get on the board, get the ball rolling, but already the time bank is not going to be looking very good for them if they can get that finish. Push forward here from Australia. They shove back. They manage to get the kills, and Harry Hook, the Shuriken fly straight and true, and they manage to take him down.
Doc doesn't have a nano boost, but beyond that, they have probably the best push they could ask for with now the EMP ready and that rally. They can pre-rally. It's very likely what they will do here once everyone respawns. They can use it for the sustainability on the fight, but you're looking for a longer fight to go your favor with an opening EMP. As Popey is holding this now, he's seen. That's how they want to win this fight. Counter EMP ready for Husk, though. They need to get a kill basically immediately after this EMP goes off.
Sprinting forward here, Kraken going to get locked down. Lightro finds that first hit. Husk's going to drop down the EMP. Not really any follow-up here from the rest of Team Australia. Trill falling low, jumps down, trying to get that mega pack. In the back, and they are just in such an awkward position here. Will get taken down. Punk's going to get knocked out. Punk's now eliminated. It is just steamrolling here for Spain as the second tick is ready to come through, looking for that completion. And honestly, the time bank not going to be as bad as he might have thought if they can get the finish. Cam manages to play it out, but he's going to get hacked. He has to kind of wait out. No one else is there to pick up the slack here onto the point. The completion comes in. Spain, they finish with time in the bank.
Yeah, this is not a C9, by the way, for those freaking out. It is going to be just if you're running a Genji like that and you have to buy time, if you stay on the point, you gain maybe 1 second. Maybe 1 second. but if you survive, someone else tags onto the point and you get kills, maybe you win the map. So that was correct how he played that Dragon Blade there at the end. But the opening pick for Brigitte, Line Pro was able to get that kill early on in the fight, is actually what allowed them to win this so handily, because Bobby Fresh then had his follow-up EMP. And the EMP, as you mentioned, that came out counter-wise by Huss, didn't have any follow-up damages with Desperation EMP, hoping that maybe someone could get that lucky pick right during the big explosive hack there, and it didn't work out that way.
Yep.
Still, Australia holds the better time bank, and they had a great defense for a longer extended duration on B, so they're probably feeling pretty solid about how things worked out. Even though they didn't have the smoothest final capture there on B, they hold this small advantage, and they're going to run the same style of defense here on A.
Yeah, we'll be seeing that Widow and the Junkrat come out again. CKM, see if he can get any opening pickoffs here. An interesting spot. This is not going to be your usual starting trap and charge that you go for here. On the defense, it's usually either going to be on that initial left to right as soon as you wrap around and go through this first opening archway.
Yeah, it's more peel-oriented.
Changes it up a little bit.
Yeah, don't want to be too predictable with those.
Yeah, try to catch like maybe a Winston pushing forward, perhaps. We'll see. But that poison trap going to be coming down, spreading around. He's playing very far forward. I like this. As a Widowmaker, but he gets jumped on. Dangerously though, makes it back behind the barrier in time to try to stay alive, and actually just goes ahead and machine gun sprays down on the networks, flips over the side, finds Line Pro,
and this will be exchanged. Fantastic Widow play, pushing the limits of what Widow is capable of. You know, sure, I know some may criticize his inability to kill Doc here, but Doc's actually kiting around really well, actually dodging very well, making it so frustrating. He actually still alive.
Yeah. Cancel on the grapple. Promas trying to spray away. His way back into that mech. If he just can't hit it, finally
well, that is
get the shot.
Yeah.
That's a big stagger there onto the Diva.
I like how Huss is playing forward, though, like you mentioned, because when you play forward like this, you end up basically drawing a lot of aggro. And if you live, you've wasted so many cooldowns that the damage that you lost while you were grappling is actually less relevant.
Oh.
Harry Hook is looking for the knockoff here. He's going to head up and try to knock them onto the low ground.
He's given his position away. He sprayed, so they should know that he is going to be in the back. Sun comes in. Huss falls low, but he can go back up. Kraken with the armor pack, keeping him alive. Dive on the top. Huss looking for an angle there. Onto networks, hasn't been able to find. Line Pro jumps down straight into him, and that first opening shot leaving him enough for Trill to go ahead and fall for the kills. The Line Pro, now Harry Hook going to be dead. 40 seconds remaining here for Spain. They have to bail out of this one. Go ahead, let yourself die. Get that respawn coming through and go for one final push.
Yeah, I think it was really aggressive how Harry Hook was playing there, and sure, they got the high ground controlled, or rather knocked Australia off of that high ground, forced them down on the low ground, but now they have no time. They put all their eggs in that basket here. They don't have anything outside of this EMP. It's going to have to be the money EMP. Yep. So this may just be a full hold from Australia.
Don't have that sound barrier ready to go. Can build it up in the extended fight. Only lasts how long is going to be the question. Primal Rage will certainly help them add some seconds onto it, but if this Riptide finds a pop, that could just about be it. Past him. I think he just actually missed a Lucio. Tries it up onto the high ground, coming back down in on the point. Bobby Fresh meantime going to drop that EMP. The Riptide from CKM doesn't find anything. Hunt swaps over onto the Tracer. Line Pro going to be eliminated, but now Pump's going to be knocked out of the mech as we go into OT. Romas firing away here with a pistol. Go ahead and recall the mech. He's his way back again. It's actually gets taken down right before he can rejoin. Now Harry is going to be taken out as well. No tanks available here for Spain. 3 members dead. Bobby Fresh, no HP remaining, no life remaining. He'll get finished off, and Australia managed to get the hold.
Very well played here by Australia, identifying very quickly that with Harry Hook trying to disrupt their high ground position, they should just fall back and set up a new defensive position on the low ground. They did exactly that. They traded up, and they were really good at knocking Bromos out of the mech consistently. We had a lot of first-person views of him trying to remech there.
Yeah, they last second got him.
Yeah, and, you know, I feel like Bromos has had an incredible series here on the Diva, has actually prevented a lot of big damage done to the support line, especially when you look back even as far as Lijiang Tower. He's played a very good Diva. They played around him really well here, and that's very important when you're running something like a Junkrat, so that you can actually do that amount of damage in the choke points you're looking for. Plus, again, identifying where to stand with this Widow, maximizing damage in the front, then drawing aggro, wasting cooldowns. I mean, it's honestly really high-level stuff what we're seeing here. Spain had a good plan, but the execution took too many tries. It took too long, and so they ended up, you know, losing out. All their time bank, they don't end up with a tick, so they're going to have to, in order to force a tiebreaker here, or rather just a tie on this map, do it themselves also a full hold. On the defense, they're running something very similar. No Junkrat though. It's going to be the, Ana, Lucio, and Brigitte setup. Hoping to set up maybe some defensive dives here with networks onto the back line. But Australia doesn't expect this. They're actually going to be running the Pharah for now, but I think we might see a swap as soon as they find out what they're up against.
We saw this on the initial approach. They went for the Genji, decided to change it up, so they'll just be opening this time around. Yeah, CKM being reminded that Harry Hook was able to snipe him out of the sky very rapidly with that Ana. Again, I'm going to be looking for it. Networks rejoins with the rest of his team as Huss hovers around the back. Rocket's coming down. Last intercepts that one, keeping Harry alive and healthy.
Huss is just that player that you can't seem to shake off. You can't seem to get rid of him. He's always just a pain in your side, trying to get that information, trying to set up for some picks, and you always have to be aware of him. CKM not doing the damage this time that he would have liked.
Oh, getting jumped on the pocket there from Custom. Does keep him alive. Dangerously close, however. Got a nice top angle there on the networks. The bubble's going to come down just to try to mitigate some of that damage coming out. He'll jump over. He wants to go up into the face of this Ana. The angle, however, yet. Topic Fresh will get taken down. Huss exchanging one back there onto the enemy Sombra. And now Australia goes forth onto the point. They know they just need that one tick. Harry Hook going to be left on. Goes low, but not going to be going down. Drill's going to be the only one eliminated here so far. Australia suffers a loss.
Spain is just not falling for the same trick twice here. They're not going to that choke point. They're not giving Pharah those opportunities. If you remember the last push where they were finding success, everyone was stuck in this room, and Australia just had CKM do so much damage. It's not working out twice, as Spain is playing around it better now.
Kraken gonna get jumped on. Networks goes in very deep here in the primal range. Now gonna be caught as he tries to stay alive. Sleep Dart comes in. Nobody touch him this time.
Yeah.
They leave him alone. They wait for it to expire. EMP thrown in by Huss. Has that rod to follow up. Harry Hook gonna get taken down. And it's gonna be Networks turning him in the grave as well as Max. Now, about to get knocked out of that mech. Yeah, will be taken down in the end of Kraken with a Bionade. Then it's the finish that one off. Primal range there. Mind Throw, Bromas, all gonna be going down. The hack on Pharah. Seems like it doesn't even matter. The tick gonna come through, and Australia will move up 2-1.
Very impressive stuff here from Spain on the defense, though. I really liked how they just would not allow CKM to get the value out of the Pharah rockets that he did previously. But as you mentioned, the ignore this time on the Winston, making sure that that was not what saved Spain there. The coordination to set CKM up for that big barrage where Bromas was unfortunately just too far away to put the defense matrix there in time. He got it at the last second and was, of course, promptly demeched. But yeah, really nice stuff on both sides here. This is actually turning into a really tight-knit series, where we've seen more depth from Spain than I expected going into. After we saw Lijiang Tower in the very beginning of Blizzard World, I was worried that they'd have kind of be stuck in that GOAT style for the majority of this series, but they showed their own dive, they showed their own Sombra to great effect. But Australia has started to finally take the lead here, and I think we're seeing different levels of coordination, to be frank. I think Australia is really playing around what Huss is doing for them, giving vision, setting up those picks, running dive very well, and also the coordination around the Pharah, for example, which in a traditional sense, and also with how well Spain was positioned there, not getting caught into a choke point is very difficult to do, but they still are able to make this work just from sharing information, good shot calling.
Yeah, really good stuff. And I mean, showing a little bit more depth as well here is Australia. We finally had the Widowmaker and the Junkrat come out.
Yeah.
Wasn't the most impactful, but, you know, the kills that we did see Huss get with that Widow were some pretty important ones. So still has that, you know, in his back pocket should he need to pull it out, but clearly is most comfortable on that Sombra so far, is very predominant in this meta, so wants to keep running with that. But they get the match point now, 2-1. Spain, they get another map choice. This did not work out for them on Temple of Anubis. We have to figure out where they're going to go for Escort. Our, you know, potentially final map here. If they can get that win, they could bring us to our first tiebreaker. So a lot of importance on this final selection.
Certainly so. I guess we're going to find out in just a moment what that Escort map will be, as there's a lot of different maps that you can play if you want to run GOATs, for example. One of the big ones that comes to mind, of course, is Route 66, but you can also run, there's a lot of different cups you can run on Route 66, one of the most varied ones. If you want to go towards something completely different that you want to, that you've been kind of keeping hidden, you might go to, well, I was going to say the Junkertown, but Route 66 will be the map here.
So. No. You do not pick Junkertown in the Team Australia. That is just asking for a loss. They identify that, and they'll stray away from it.
Sure.
But I also don't know. I'm wondering now, like, are we going to see more of that Widowmaker coming through for Huss now that we see the Route 66 as a selection? Because he's already been showing that one. We haven't really seen the Widow from Spain. Can they bring that out?
Yeah, and the other thing that is really significant about Route 66 here too, Achilles, is ever since Sombra's release and through her several changes throughout, you know, balance patches, etc., in Korea and also in Overwatch League, I would say, as the two kind of big regions where she was played a lot in competitive play, this has always been one of her most commonly seen maps. And that's going to be a big factor here because Huss has been absolutely phenomenal on this hero. And when you have dive in the early part of this map as such a staple, where you're looking to get up on top of big Earls as the attacker, set up those flanks with the Sombra, that's going to be very impactful. So somewhat of a surprising pick here from Spain, just like the Anubis pick we saw previously. But we'll see what they want to run. Right now, they're looking to run Sombra defense, anti-dive with the Brigada, big Earls set up there. But as we go further into the map, that's where I get a little bit worried about Popey versus Huss. Who's going to be more impactful?
Well, right now, he's just playing forward, trying to spot out what the enemy comp is going to be. We will be seeing that Pharah coming through from CKM. Huss here onto the Sombra. Gets spotted out, goes low, has that translocator, jumps back, gets the hack there onto the pack. Australia start this push off nice and slowly as they get ready to move up to the first corner.
Yeah, it's just a very slow, careful push here, but Spain is not going to try to collapse. They favor big Earls. Here's the first dive attempt. Nice stun from Line Pro.
Yeah, that's going to be Harry Hook going down Huss. Finds the hits there on to that Zenyatta.
Again, he does it again. I mean, he's been doing this so consistently well.
Over back there onto Networks, trying to keep him alive. Hack on the Vermont down on the low ground. It's playing back over into the garage. Still will be losing out on the mech, delaying further that self-destruct that he can definitely utilize to buy some space onto this card. For now, Australia just going to keep charging forward here. Doc under some fire, dive in the back of the drill. And it's zap down Line Pro, but not going to find the kill.
It's really difficult for Spain when things start to snowball away from them like this. You lose control of big Earls. Harry Hook doesn't have Transcendence, so you're scared of the next EMP. No matter how good your positioning is as Harry Hook here, if you don't have the Transcendence, you can't counter the EMP with it. So very, very difficult situation now for them to try to spill out of a choke point against Pharah. Australia has all the advantages here. Line Pro steps over the line.
Way too far out there. CKM has the rocket angle, takes him out, and Doc will be joining him. Drill pushes forward, has that primal rage ready to go, but knows that he doesn't have to commit it to go ahead and get the knockout. The tanks are gone. That's going to be the 0.8 cap coming through. They basically steamroll their way into that one, and now it's going to be just shy of 5 minutes on the clock, and Harry Hook now goes down.
And they hold 5 ultimates here, or 4, excuse me. And a Kraken used Nano pretty liberally there onto Trill. Did not absolutely need to do that, but he can build it so quickly, so it just simply doesn't matter. Spain has good tools to fight in a choke point with their own defensive EMP, but look at Huss again, gaining information, always trying to spot out where is Spain going to approach. Look at how much he has.
Tossing the rocket to the face, Harry Hook goes down right on the back. More going to be piled in here into the choke as Vermass will get popped out of that neck. Best that self-destruct. Finds a pick off onto Trill. Entirely certain how the communication was going in that moment. He will get taken down, but the card is still going to be moving forward.
Yeah, sometimes as Winston, you feel like when you have a primal, you're invincible, but that's just a little bit too much burst. Not going to be able to hit that one in time as the self-destruct hits you, but Spain does recontrol this Hydra now. They're going to use the EMP.
Attack coming through, but they need to follow up kill. Spray coming down. CKM will be eliminated by Network. Huss falls low, but still gets Harry Hook yet again.
Yeah, and there's a res onto CKM, so he's in a really good spot actually up there on the high ground. Networks has to be nanoed.
Into the fight, the nano comes down, but the sleep comes in again!
A Kraken is killing it tonight on these.
Oh my lord, Trill gets rid of Vermass. Now Networks not going to have a whole lot of anything. It's just, you know, the Winstons are tired, so they're just going to be sleeping on either side, but Trill does stay alive, has the primal range popped now. He looks to rejoin in with the squad. Custa has the pocket, keeping him sustained. Rejoins in with a cart, they keep moving forward like nothing even.
Just an aside, you know, it used to be a year ago that only Jaeon would be able to do this consistently, and this new meta, as the level of plays increase in Overwatch, is going to be something you see a lot more. And Winstons aren't going to have to play around it. When you have a good Ana on both sides, both Winstons need to be aware that Asleep was once something that would be in every highlight reel on the top of Reddit, is now actually becoming somewhat of a standard thing against Winstons especially. But with Genji, that's still very impressive. But a big target like Winston, you're going to see a lot of counters through Primal Rage, so you need to know where the Ana is before you're going to pop that, or you're going to waste your ultimate to a low cooldown ability. We're going to see the swap over to the McCree here, actually, for more burst damage against what Australia is running, and also some extra stun against Huss. One way to help deal with this annoying Sombra, but they don't know where he is now. This could be a big problem.
Top. Gets a hack down with the last cross down into the back. It's going to be used. He just holds on to the EMP. Now he's going to have the next fight. Rush thrown down by CKM. Will get eliminated. Pop up there onto the enemy. Diva. No mech available. Still takes a lot of damage here. Disrupt clicks from Poppy.
It's a bit of a rarer pick, this McCree, but I like it a lot against the Pharah. CKM is going to swap over to Genji instead after this.
It's the flashbang, not going to hunt on Huns comes back in, has that EMP in, and Poppy Fresh has nowhere to go. Will just get taken down. The massive get run down. No tanks available here. Spain suffering 3 losses very swiftly. Line Pro tries to play forward, trying to keep Doc sustained, but the lead comes down. They all fall. The effective team wipe comes through, and Australia keep moving forward. 3:20 on the clock.
I just want to remind everyone that was essentially a 5v6. CKM was dead and swapping over to Genji. He's now shown up here. They do have this Deadeye, but it's going to be so difficult to execute here against such heavy dive. You've got to deal with the Sombra, the Genji, and of course the D.Va that's blocking it all up in the front lines. That's why he's not using it yet. He doesn't have an ability to flank either. So this McCree, much less worth when you're fighting against Genji, not a Pharah.
Primal Rage going to be coming down. Poppy going to be cornered. Pops at Deadeye, looking for the hit. Gets a little bit of damage in. Helps take down Custa in the mixed units to do his thing. Self-destruct out from Bomas, however, finds 2. Trill and CKM both going to be going down now. A Kraken falling as well. Australia will be halted just in front of point C. Spain finally gain some control.
Let's see if they stick with this McCree now. Well, he's dead, so maybe not, but because the McCree is less valuable here. Poppy Fresh did do a lot of extra damage in that fight, but I feel like with the Pharah gone now, don't need it as much. They're going to switch to the Tracer here. I like this a lot. Now you can just do more consistent damage, whereas McCree needs to be in position, needs to be protected to do the damage, the burst he was doing before. Now, Tracer's just going to have potential for burst kills, as well as just consistent damage overall, more escapability. So it's a great way to buy more time here for Spain.
Pushing back up and making their way over onto the card. Hustlers have that EMP ready. Dragon Blade nearly online for CKM. He's going to get dangerously low. Will he finish him off? Look at his HP bar. Seems like he is still going to be in the mix, but Custa as well under duress. Back and forth, constant pressure here onto the members of Australia. Trill's going to fall. Poppy Fresh will be the one faded out. EMP is going to be coming down. Networks does fall. CKM pushing forward, still alive. Now has the Dragon Blade online, but to wait. Knight comes through, he's going to draw it out. Self-destruct going into the back. He's going to break onto the mech. Will be able to find it with the first swipe for the finish onto the Baby D.Va. Pistol shots coming down, finally finds it. 10 HP remaining. Back comes through, the healing. He'll stay alive, and now it's going to be the transcendent up to Harry Hook. They're looking to go ahead and hold on in this fight. Also, not Poppy Fresh. Not going to be finding anything. Australia still playing forward. Customer's going to match with his own transcendent. 4.5 meters left to go, and Line Pro's going to be the first one to fall.
Okay, well, Poppy Fresh here trying to build up for another pulse bomb. There's no stuns on the other side, but he's cannot recall. They're getting spawn camped here practically.
Yeah, jumping in the back. CKM though, pretty deep. Takes a lot of damage. He does not have a blade. Huss required. Jumps his way back, but not before he kills off Doc. He will get a nice little opening there. No Lucio available. Self-destruct in from Romas. Tracking to the back. Not going to find any pickoffs there. Huss will be eliminated, and now Punk is going to be traded out as he loses his own mech.
And now they've got the armor. Unfortunately for Australia, I think they needed to reset earlier. They wanted this to be the push, and they used so many ultimates for it.
Does he look for it? He tosses that one down, but doesn't get the stick. Goes over onto the side. Would have been a great stagger. Would have bought them so much more time here.
There's a tiny window before the Transcendence is ready for CKM. If they're really on their own charge counting, they may know this, but I think they've missed that window now. And they have armor. Spain does, so this Dragon Blade's going to be so difficult to pull off.
Yeah, CKM already down below half HP. Pops to the flex, rejoins here, gets the healing. See that Primal Rage come out from Networks. Blade ready. Self-destruct.
Blindfold pushed away.
Drawing their vision away in the backside. CKM goes in, still going to find the kill there onto Brigida, and now it's going to be the sound barrier. Now Transcendent stacked on top of each other from space. They try to hold this off. 7 seconds remaining. Both supports going to be dead on the side of Australia. Everybody just has slivers of HP. It looks like that might just be it. Huss pops the EMP. Punk's going to go down, and I think that they have done it in Spain, holding them off, keeping their hopes alive, tying us up again, and forcing us into a tiebreaker.
There were so many fights that Spain took there with the cards stacked against them. Down on ultimates, sound barrier deleted. You know, Huss tossing that out right after Doc put the sound barrier out in that fight, you know, towards the middle part of that final hold. There's so many moments, like highlight reels of what Spain is capable of doing when, you know, they fight on this even playground where they are able to play around this Brigida. And Popey knew there was no stuns to lock him down on the other side because they weren't running Brigida at that time. There was basically only hack was the only way to shut down the Tracer. And it was hacked a few times, but not really picked off or killed. Yeah. So they were able to put off that consistent damage there. And despite the best possible attempts for Australia to toss in these EMPs into finding the back line there, which they multiple times were nearly able to do, nearly able to kill Doc, nearly able to kill Harry, Line Pro, I think, was really the backbone of that defense. He had so many good stuns. He was able to build those armor, the rallies, build the armor from the rally very quickly. And I think that Australia kind of spent too many ultimates trying to force that fight, the second to last one there, and just didn't have anything left for the final push. They wanted that to be the one, and for the first time in a long time, I feel like maybe there might have been some miscommunication on the Australia squad about what they were trying to do there. Still, you know, they had a great push through the early parts of the map, and defensively, if they can show that same level of dominance and control over big Earls, then Spain may not even get to contest that point C. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I would say more often than not. That's an interesting spot. I'd say more often than not, we don't see completion of 66, at least in Korea.
Yeah.
It's a little bit rarer compared to some of the other escort maps. Not quite as bad as Rialto, where, you know, the first one really decides it all. But we'll see how the defense is going to be. They're running the Pharah and the Sombra. It's going to be the maximum comfort coming in. And now Poppy Fresh is going to be showing us some Widowmaker play.
He wants to counter the Pharah because he knows that that's something that CKM is running. He's just seen it, and it's very difficult to dive an attacking Widow on this map, and they're not running a comp that can easily get back there, even with Huss. Although, as I say that...
Oh, okay, get some shots in. He messes up the grapple, but is it going to be enough? Doc comes in, rejoins. But in all of that confusion, CKM finds the opening to get rid of Line Pro. So already, good opening frag coming through.
When you have this open space, Widow can counter the Pharah so well, but in fact, the threat of Huss has made it so difficult, and they dive him here. Huss does the main damage, Trills get the follow-up. And so far, so good here for Australia, and Poppy may even be forced to swap if the next Widow attempt to kill the Pharah, to get that opening kill, does not work. It may be worth noting that he's done almost no damage otherwise. 30% ult charge here. And that's his one goal, is to kill that Pharah, and if it doesn't work, then maybe this isn't the right hero for this.
Rocket's coming down again! CKM finds it. Maybe Doc dying off the bat. I feel like we're back on Howard here. Finds that opening. Crash down below half, and that's the ball there. Huss there, flaps in as the rockets fly straight through. They get the connections, they get the kills. Line Pro's gonna go down, and Australia putting on a clinic right now in this defense. The rest is gonna come back in, go straight back into the fight.
It's not really common to see a Pharah on defense here, but it's really messing with Spain. They're running the Widow, but Australia's one step ahead because they have the answer to the Widow. They expect the Widow here, and you know something has gone wrong when the Pharah is killing the Widowmaker with rockets, with body shots. You know that something has, you know, setup-wise, not really been working your way. Huss, again, total vision, looking for the Widow again and again and again. Armor is being given completely to Poppy right now, and he's back, he's away, so Australia just buys time here.
Okay, well, Poppy does find one. It's going to be a kill there onto the Sombra. Still going to have to pop that primal rage and try to stay alive. Works his way back over, up on the high ground. Duking out with Networks, who also has that ult pop. Now he's going in, looking for the Widowmaker. Gets a knock off the grapple stab, but it's not going to be good enough. Having some grapple troubles, it would seem here. This is Poppy Fresh on Route 66. He goes off the side. They manage to get one back onto a Kraken, but Australia still looking to maintain control over this card. A minute and 40 on the clock here. Spain having his one range down considerably.
Yeah, really nice time by here to kill from Haas as well. And now he's going to have to respawn. This looks like it may simply be a full hold, Achilleos, if Spain can't really get control.
I mean, they're working on it. So many members dying around them. The support's still playing that far forward. Just have to bail out and go back.
They're going to put Poppy on the McCree here. And I actually really like this because he can both flashbang Huss on this Sombra when he goes there, and also deal with the Pharah.
Oh, okay.
As soon as I say that, switch to Tracer, but...
Sorry, what was that about you?
I really like the McCree potentially there.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
You just don't have time. You need some more consistent damage here with 60 seconds on the clock.
I mean, if he's not going to be burning down a Kraken and custody in the back lines, then this Tracer might not really work out that much. He needs to build up the full pump, maybe just try to break the tank line. But now this is Spain's door for the fight. There's going to be a mana boosting on the Trill. Sound barrier out from Doc, trying to keep him alive. Romance finds one. Huss will go down. Gets the knockout on the pump spec as well. CKM pushes forward. Gets him a parry hook. Rez comes out onto the Sombra. Pump's gonna die. CKM still alive. Barely though. Will get taken down. Romance comes in from behind. Rez absolutely runs him over. Takes him out of the skies. Finally, Spain look to get some distance here. Look to get this completion on point A, but the clock has been drained down to 30 seconds. The Streets face push. They're not gonna have that much time for it.
Yeah, it just turns out that the Tracer pick was the correct one. They did enough consistent damage to everything but the Pharah to actually win the tank battle, and that's where they just simply ignored CKM for the most part there. They're gonna look for one last minute contest here, and they do have a way they can set up a big barrage with self-destruct. Not gonna be easy though.
Jump over the top. Barrage ready. Make their way in onto the cart. 5 seconds remaining. Throw. Literally corner. He's picking that EMP. And everybody's just going to be dropping like flies. The barrage barely manages to get the break there onto the mech. The stops comes to still to finish off Mass, but it's just not really going to be enough, you would think, here for Australia to win this fight versus Spain. 5 meters just about ready to go.
Almost ready.
Knock out that mech. Down, a Kraken is going to die right off the bat again. As soon as he comes back in, he is taken out just as swiftly, and now Costa will be going down as well. Australia crumbling here in this final stretch, looking for that bull hold, but they're not going to have it.
They're not going to have it. The EMP was ready, but there was no one left to do follow-up damage, so Spain just rolls the cart in. But they have such a weak time bank now. They're going to have to pick it up. The pace is going to have to be increased. And what ended up working out for them more than anything else was just burning down the tank line, forcing Trill to primal early. That's where Popey's Tracer comes into play. He's not having the big flashy pulse bomb kills, but Tracer is able to do more consistent damage than something like a McCree or a Widow. And he's going on to clearly what is more comfortable for him here, and that's what guaranteed them that first point. The EMP they didn't use is still held here.
Crosses down, but doesn't get to Zenyatta. Harry Hook puts his way inside, in time to keep himself alive, but Blind Pro will be going down. It's going to be the one kill that they find in the back.
Ooh,
Primal Rage. Something interesting that he wants to commit for this one as he goes back over onto the card. Poppy tries to run the pulse bomb. Looking for an angle to get the break on the mech there. A pump going to find that opportunity, and Harry Hook gets stomped in the end off screen. So Australia still going to be maintaining control. Now Network's going down. Some interesting investment. Will they change up the Winston? I want to say probably not.
Yeah, I think you primal in this moment because you're so stressed out about your weak time bank. Ideally, you'd actually rather just die and reset if you had a reasonable time, but Spain does not. So I think that was just kind of a panic moment of like, we've got to win this fight right now.
Okay, they're in a choke.
This could be bad.
Now the barrage is going to be set and ready. Throws that one down. Now barrier comes out. Staying alive here. Us will be the first one eliminated. Not going to be building up for that EMP, and now a Kraken will die as well. Trying to find Zach. Gets the break onto the mech. Tracer really working out for him, showing that comfort as CKM just gets sprayed down. He's just getting killing blow after killing blow. Effective team wipe comes through. Spain can really gain some distance now, but they only have 40 seconds on the clock. They need this to be a very strong push into B.
Yeah. Now, notice that everyone's still holding that armor. Harry Hook in particular, which is fantastic for Zenyatta because you get the shields and the armor on top of your health bar, so you end up with way more health than you're supposed to, basically, as a Zenyatta with this. Yeah. And he's going to have the Transcends ready in just a moment. So Australia setting up a fight is going to basically be around us building his EMP. If you can hit Harry, then everything can change in that instant.
Poppy coming around the back for the hits. Gets that one clip taking the Kraken down to half HP. Pulse comes out, not going to have the pick off, and Networks is going to be dead. Now CKM finds Harry Hook. Good openings coming out here for Australia as they try to gain control, try to deny this cap, get the victory here in the series. Bombs comes down, Bubble is perfect control, denies that one completely away, and now Doc is going to be dead. Australia holding on, trying to just go ahead and stop them here. Poppy tries though, he wants to push back, he wants to get this completion, he wants to tie things up, of course, a tiebreaker, but he will go down. Line Pro and Bromas also going to be falling as Australia try to close this out over Spain with a 3-1 victory. Primal Rage into the Network. The barrage coming down, doesn't have much of an angle, but there's nobody onto the card. Finally rejoined, but Networks, it's all lonesome. It just seems so desperate, it just seems so futile.
It doesn't look like it's going to work out. He's knocked away, time ticks down, and that is going to be Australia taking the 3-1 victory. Very well coordinated play from this roster. They took some time to get warmed up on Lijiang, but after that, it was better depth we saw from them. More different types of compositions, not running the same thing over and over again, running lots of Pharah dive with both Genji and also then swapping over to the Ana there. And basically a wider range of heroes, I think, and a wider range of practiced strategies for maps. And I think especially on every first point of every map we saw them play, you could clearly see that there was an exact plan from start to finish for those. The early game where they were able to kill Doc twice on Lijiang despite losing the map, very well coordinated. We saw, moving into our next few maps, just good setups, especially on Anubis. When you look at the Anubis control of A and how they played around the Widow, after running a Widowless defense on their first defense there, they're showing so much depth. Now, if they keep continuing to run so many different compositions, maybe they don't have a backbone one, maybe one's not that strong. If they face off against a stronger team, it could be a weakness. But at least for this first series, it just looked like Australia came in with a wide range of preparation.
Yeah, a nice start. Get that 3-1 on the board. It's not going to be the 4-0, not going to be showing total domination. This was very scrappy. This was very back and forth. Spain at some extremely close moments to try to get those extra wins in. I was really keeping my fingers crossed. I'm unbiased about who wins it. I just wanted to see a tiebreaker, but unfortunately, that does not happen here for us in the second series, but we still have plenty more games on the day. Maybe some of the other teams can make that happen here for us, but congratulations to Australia who pick up that very nice win. But guys, we are ready to go ahead and hear from one of the members of Team Australia. We'll go ahead and throw over to Zoe on the floor, who is standing by, I believe, with puck.
And this was Team Australia taking this series against Spain 3-1. So please give it up for Team Australia. The first victory of this very group stage, and I have Punk from them joining me. And I gotta be honest here, like, you looked like a bit of a highlight reel on your diva at times there. How serious are you and your team taking this opportunity to show your place to the world?
We're taking it very seriously because we know that this is the chance for some of our players to like go to Overwatch League potentially or NA contenders, and yeah, so we're just trying to use that as a stepping stone.
Right, definitely gonna put you and your team on the radar of all the OWL Season 2 teams out there. Now, let's talk about the game we just watched. Spain won the first map. It was scrappy. A lot of this whole series looked like a bit of a brawl. Why do you think that is? Is that just the play styles clashing, or did you need to warm up a little bit?
I think they played a really brawl comp, but also we had a lot of nerves, I think, in the first map, and a lot of getting used to like being on stage for some, like, we haven't done it in a long time, and it's not as big in Australia. So yeah, we were just getting used to it, I think, and that's why it was a bit cluttered and yeah, chaotic.
All right, so we're gonna see that cleaning up a little bit the next few days. Speaking of the next few days, you still have a lot of matches coming up. Which opponents are you scared of? Which are you looking to beat? Where do you see yourself in this very group stage?
I think we can make it out of the groups, but I think China obviously the best team right now, and so yeah, they're the ones to beat, but I think the real challenge is going to be Sweden and Denmark because yeah, they also play a bit of a brawl comp, and yeah, so we have to beat those to get out of the group stage.
All right, thank you so much for joining me, Punk. Good luck for your next games to you and your team. We're now heading over to our casters to break down the action.
So, you know, I don't know how many people from Australia made their way over to Thailand for this event, but they have been doing the chant in the audience. And I really like to think that it's a lot of the Thai fans who are participating. They know that from last year, hearing it throughout the arena, and they wanted to bring that forward for Team Australia again here this year.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool to hear from some of these younger, new players that get to have this spotlight as well. Not only for their fans abroad, you know, or I say abroad, but for them at home, right?
Yeah,
Australian fans, you have fans all over the world, but also to be able to travel, be on a big stage like this, and have the love from a completely different nation, right? Our host country here of Thailand. So it's really awesome to see, you know, that new talent up on the front stage, and Punk giving a very classy interview there at the end of the day. Really fun to see it, you know, that he gets to have this opportunity he's never had before, and he showed a great diva. So. Well deserved. Yeah, very well played by him. Huss as well. Shout out to him. I got to give him the personal one for the Sombra. Overall, absolutely stellar play from him. But, I mean, good start for Australia. Some things to improve on as they get ready to move forward. They still have what some people would consider to be stronger opponents on the horizon. Team Sweden has been talked up a lot. A lot of teams have been worried about Team China as well. So some more preparation to be put in for those squads. Tighten up the bolts and, you know, here and there for them as they get ready to move forward. But overall, good job.